Thanks, Mina. Thanks for the introduction. I caught most of that panel. Very interesting. Yeah, so I agree with everything that you guys said, and I look forward to sharing some of the insights from, I guess, my career in cybersecurity and intelligence with the audience. Hi, I'm Dan, CEO and co-founder of WorldStack. WorldStack specializes in solutions that turn publicly available data into actionable intelligence. Today, I'm going to talk to you about open source intelligence, and I'll dispel some myths around stereotypes in the cybersecurity industry, and I'll show you an example of OSINT in action. I'll also share the story of how I got into cybersecurity, transitioned into intelligence, and founded a company, as well as some insights about what makes a good analyst. The presentation will go for about 30 minutes, and there'll be about 10 to 15 minutes for questions at the end. So don't be shy. Feel free to pop your question into the Q&A panel. You probably aren't the only one that wants to know that answer. So let's get stuck in. Most people think of cybersecurity, they think about hackers, dark rooms, and hoodies. Ethical hacking or penetration testing is just one discipline in cybersecurity. There are many others like security engineering, software development, security architecture, and incident response. There are also many non-technical disciplines like awareness and training, sales, communications and marketing, governance, risk and compliance, and intelligence. When most people think of intelligence, they think of spies and cloak and dagger and guys in suits. Just like with cybersecurity, the reality of being an intelligence analyst is different to the stereotype, and there are lots of disciplines within the field. There are technical disciplines like signals intelligence or geospatial intelligence, and there are non-technical disciplines like human intelligence or open source intelligence. Open source intelligence, or OSINT, is the discipline of extracting intelligence from publicly available information. Publicly available information includes things like web pages, search engines, and social media. OSINT reminds me of games I used to play when I was in primary school, like Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? The idea was that you had to locate a fictional criminal using clues that they left behind. A while ago, I tried an escape room here in Canberra. It was heaps of fun. What fascinated me most was finding clues as a team in order to get to the next puzzle and ultimately solve the game. OSINT's a lot like this. All the clues are there for you to find. They're just not that easy to see sometimes. My journey into cybersecurity and intelligence was not straightforward. I actually wanted to be a systems analyst. I've always been interested in computers. My dad got me my first computer when I was 11. It was an IBM DX2, so that's a 486 processor. That was in the early 90s. Within a week of having it, I broke it trying to figure out how it worked. And my dad actually had to take it back to his friend that he bought it from to get it fixed. I spent the next 6 months learning everything about it, and I was just hooked on this fantastic machine. After that, I became really interested in all kinds of technology and fixing it. And I worked as a computer technician right throughout high school and university. I always wanted to be a systems analyst. I love how they could understand difficult business problems and then figure out a system to help solve the problem. I was hired by IBM in my final year of my computer science degree and joined the support team for a large energy company. And I spent the next 3 years working in various roles from support, development, testing and design before I took a role at Defense. So I wanted to work on, I guess, bigger and more complicated problems. There I spent 2 years working as a solutions architect, helping develop requirements and designs for systems there. One of the things that I did while I was there was develop a plan of work for the intelligence and security group at Defense. And that work was fascinating, and I learned a lot about intelligence and security. And at the end of that, I really wanted to be involved in delivering that work and learning more about this emerging field of cybersecurity. I really thought it was the future. So I did some research and I found the best cybersecurity company in Canberra that I could find, and I got myself an interview. I didn't know anything about cybersecurity, but I did have a technical background and the right attitude, and they said they could teach me the rest. So over the next 5 years, I worked as a security consultant, doing risk assessments, reviewing security designs, and responding to security incidents. While I was there, I met my co-founder, Eric Fliss. Eric was working as a security consultant, but his passion was in intelligence. He's a naturally curious guy, just like I am. One day I saw Eric working on a diagram and I came in to see what it was. And he was trying to figure out a system to automate the collection and analysis of public data so that he could save time with his intelligence work and see insights and trends that you couldn't see doing the work manually. So I used my background in systems design to help make some tweaks to the design. And from that point on, we worked on this together outside of work. This is actually what would later become Providence, which is our automated OSINT platform that we've developed. Around the same time, I became interested in OSINT and psychology and started practicing OSINT in my spare time. And I also went and took a course in security vetting, and I also worked as a security vetting officer for a while as a contractor. I was really interested in learning a lot more about people and the human element and the human side of risk, where I'd spent most of my early career focused on systems. My later career I spent a lot of time on the human side, understanding psychology, human behavior, and open source intelligence. In 2014, Eric and I decided to create a company to capture all this work we were doing. And that's when WorldStack was born. Eric and I, by then, were both independent security consultants, continue to work on building the company in our spare time. Since then, we've continued to grow the business and evolve the Providence platform, adding a range of OSINT applications that run on top of it. We created Check Social to automate digital footprint checks, Honeytrace to automate data breach detection, and our managed intelligence service to deliver cyber threat intelligence as a service. On top of that, we also help our clients with online investigations and tradecraft training. It's very satisfying being able to teach people new skills and help clients solve business problems through intelligence. Now I'm going to show you a demo of what it's like to be an intelligence analyst working in the OSINT field. Before I start, I want to give a warning that the content I'm about to show you does contain some explicit language. I'll let you know when we get to that part and when we get past it, and in between I'll summarize what we're looking at so you get the idea and you don't miss any of the clues as we go along. All right, so I set the scene. So when I was thinking about what I would do in this session, I thought, what am I going to pick? What topic will I choose? It's got to be something that's relatable, not too contentious, and can demonstrate how we can use this OSINT skill set to try and do good things. And later on this week, there's an event on Thursday, which is a missing persons hackathon. It's an event where we've got teams of open source intelligence practitioners that get on and in teams of 4. And essentially, it's a capture the flag exercise where we get given a bunch of cases and of missing persons, real missing persons, and the task is to try and find some clues to help investigators ultimately locate those missing persons. So I thought in the theme of that, we're going to be doing that later this week. We're actually fielding a team on Thursday as well. I'll be part of it. I thought I'll go and find a recent missing persons case, and I'll run through how we might actually find some clues about where these people are and why they went missing. So this is one that I found when I was going through looking for a case. This one's a young girl that went missing. She's 11. She's missing from regional New South Wales. Her name was Talia Hinchcliffe. She was reported missing, last seen in Orange on Monday. So she's been missing for just over a week. The police had information that she was in Strawberry Hills of Sydney on Tuesday morning, believed to have travelled to the Hamilton area in Newcastle. So there's some clues there for us to look for. There's a description of her. There's a photo there. So she's described as Aboriginal Torres Strait Island appearance, a medium build, 150 centimetres, 160 centimetres tall, brown hair. Interesting. This is an interesting point. This is the second time Talia has been reported missing this month. She disappeared for 3 days in early October. Now, 3 days in early October, found her safe and well on October 14. That implies that she went missing on the October 11, which is only 2 weeks ago. So she was found about a week before she went missing a second time. Officers are concerned for the child's welfare due to a young age and are asking the public to assist them in their search. All right, so where do we start? Where we start is to go through and have a search for Talia's name to see what comes up. So I did that here. Let's see what comes up. What I found was some social media profiles straight away. So a Facebook profile and an Instagram profile here. So I went over and had a look at those. This is the Facebook profile. It looks quite young. The last post here was 2013, 7 years ago, minus 7 years from 11. That could be her. It looks like a 4-year-old. But this is obviously an old profile and no longer active. The next thing I looked at was the Instagram account. This could also be her. It looks similar to the photo that we saw here. But this is a private account. There's a small number of followers and posts. Given her age, perhaps this is something that's no longer an active account and was created when she was pretty young, or younger than she is now. So that didn't help us out. I think the next thing I did was I went back to here and just reviewing my notes. There was a Facebook post in the Mudgee Guardian. So I think it was this one. Yep. Just move that out of the way for a second. So this is the Facebook article that we found. Same sorts of information. There's some new information here though. Last seen in Bathurst. So this is actually a previous when she was missing previously. Interesting extra information, has ties to Dubbo. We went through and I went through and tried to find out, okay, is there anything in here linking? Normally family would share the missing person's information. So you can click on the shares here and look. What I was looking for was anyone with the same last name or anything that would indicate that the person might actually be related, to try and find some other information about Talia. I went through all of this and I couldn't find any direct links. The closest thing was this guy, but the spelling of his name is slightly different. It's Hinchliffe rather than Hinchcliffe. It's pretty close, but no cigar. So at that point decided that there's a lot of results here that are quite old and we want to get information just about the most recent missing occasion that she went missing. So I said, okay, let's filter it down to just the results from the past week, which gives us some more information. We've already looked at this post here. This was the Mudgee post on Facebook. And then there was this one. This is a post from 9 News about the girl being missing, and it was only posted 5 days ago. So that's pretty recent. And then this is the article that links to. You can see there's quite a lot of interactions and comments and shares on this. So I went through and read through all the comments to see if there was any extra information by people who have already been involved in perhaps her previous disappearance or this disappearance. Maybe her friends would comment some kind of information about where she might have gone. There's a suggestion here in the comments that that she might be a foster kid. So that got us to start thinking. And then I think further down, someone was commenting she looks older than 11. And there's an extra comment here saying she's been found again, this time not sure who with, although something to do with sexual assault. Believing she's older. And then there's a comment here, she acts like a 16-year-old on her Facebook page. And that, when I read that, I went, maybe that means that she's got some other Facebook accounts. So at that point, that's given us some information about her behavior. She likes to act a lot older than what she is, dress a lot older than what she is. This is all circumstance, of course. And there's a clue that maybe there's another Facebook page here. So the next thing I did was go to Google, do a site-specific search on Facebook for Talia again, and we got a few, we got search results here, I think I saved, yep. So this is the search results that came back, and that's the original profile that we found on the first search. And here's two other ones that look pretty close to what we're looking for, because you can see based in Bathurst, based in Orange, both named Talia, so I opened both of those up. This looks like it might be her as well, going by the photos that are in this album. Where this could be the same person. Okay, so went back to the profile timeline though, but we can see the last update here was the 12th of January 2020. Okay, we'll have a look at the other profile. So then we found this one. You can see Talia Hinchcliffe 5, and that was 1. So perhaps there's even 2, 3, and 4 that are missing. This looks a lot more recent. So what I'm looking for now, you can see this post here from the 22nd of October. That's only 5 days ago, and this was posted after she went missing. So that implies she's still alive, and she's posting on Facebook. So my next thing is, okay, so when was the last time she posted a photo? This was her most recent photo, 22 October, day 1. I don't know what that means, but you can see that there's a photo here. It looks like she's in a trolley with what looks like a sleeping bag. So, and this is a friend of hers where she's taken a photo in a bathroom mirror by the looks of it. And so my next clue would be to go and have a look at this person. I actually did go and do that. I went and had a look at there wasn't any clues as to where Talia might be. They're not communicating openly on Facebook. They might be messaging each other, but of course we can't see that. Okay, so that's some more information that suggests if it's day 1, maybe day 1 of her running away. That could make sense based on her previous behavior. You can also see the way that she's dressing is if she's 11, that's she's dressing to look a lot older than what she is. If we go back to the timeline, now I'm going to try and find some more recent posts to see what I can find. Now this is where there might be some explicit language here. So yep. You might want to just not look at the screen for a bit, but this essentially, this post tells you pretty much what happened in her own words. So she's recognized in this post on the 22nd of October that she's missing. She's been reported missing. Maybe if you knew a little bit about my life, you would understand. My parents were bad drug addicts, and I was taken by DCJ, that Department of Community and Justice, as a baby. My nan's care till I was 10. She talks about herself being a self-harmer since she was 6 because she was sexually assaulted. Docs removed me at the age of 10 and put me with strangers, and I've been running away for the past 1.5 years to about 2 years. She obviously doesn't like it there. she's been moved around New South Wales a lot. Now in a house in Orange with carers that don't treat her well, according to her. You think you know my story. That's why I run away. They took my siblings away from me and I haven't seen them for a year. I've been nonstop asking for vids. I haven't got a phone call, nothing. Maybe if you read this, you'll understand. So there's a lot of good intelligence there. Basically, it looks like she has run away again. It's likely that she has gone looking to make contact with these siblings that she mentioned she hasn't been able to contact. So the next step there I would take is to look through her Facebook profile. So using something like this search button here, I'd go and start searching for father. Whoops. See if she talks about her father. Now, noting she was foster child. Okay, so 20th of October, happy birthday to my greatest father I could ask for. Enjoy your day, 38. So had Talia quite young. I love you so much. So she's obviously feels like she's got a close relationship with her father. And there's a link to his profile. So this will be, there he is. This will be her father. Down to earth, single guy, cheated on by my ex of 15 years and 3 kids, but I'm moving on. So 3 kids. So Talia is one of 3. There's 2 other kids. So the steps after this would be to try and work out who he's connected to that might be also connected to Talia, to try and narrow down some siblings that Talia might have gone to go and see. The other thing that I would do is look at Talia's friends and what happened the last time she went missing to see if there was some clues as to where she went. The original article mentioned Sydney and Newcastle, so I'd narrow down my search of the friends to friends that are based in Sydney and friends and family that are based in Newcastle. So that's I guess, a quick run through of an investigation of a missing persons. We found a lot of clues there. I mean, for law enforcement, and this is kind of where intelligence stops, for law enforcement, the clues there would be enough to go and start talking to her dad to say, do you know anything about where she's disappeared to? And also the friend that was pictured in that photograph. Just see if I can find her again. Nene, I think her name was. So this is someone that saw her, one of the last people to see her with evidence since she went missing. So it's a high likelihood this person knows something about where Talia went. So that's the goal of intelligence, to find clues like that and get leads to investigators to follow up and ultimately try and find these people. Now, as is the case with some missing persons, they actually don't want to be found. Which is always a challenge in that case. But I mean, hopefully that was a useful example of how you can use open source intelligence and the sorts of thinking and process you go through to find that information. Just something else, a bonus, because I was looking at the time and I thought I'd show you depending on how much time we had. So this is an app that was created by our friends over at OSync Combine and a gentleman by the name of Mikkel Hoffman. Essentially what it is you can go to this whatsmyname.app and type in usernames. So if you've got someone's username like their Facebook username, you can type this in here. And generally humans, a lot like how they reuse passwords, they reuse usernames so they don't have to remember as many things. So we thought, okay, well, let's look for Talia's, see if she's got any other accounts with the same username. And I've looked through those ones. This one was the one that was interesting. And we did find her TikTok account. And there's some videos here of Talia. It looks like pretty recently based on the way they look. And so they're all videos of her singing different songs, but it's sort of can talk to her state of mind. If you listen to the songs and some of her hand gestures and movements, it sort of tells you a little bit about how she might be feeling, etc. So yeah, that was a bit of bonus material I had up my sleeve in case I had a bit more time. But Yeah, so you want to be a cyber sleuth. So what makes a good intelligence analyst? A good intelligence analyst loves solving puzzles. They're interested in people and how they behave. They're details focused, so you're reading through a lot of information, looking for things that jump out and important information, which you then record and start using to pivot off to find other information. You're a fast reader, you're going through a lot of data, and you're questioning everything. So you would have noticed as I went through and explained the clues as I found them, I'm looking for things that back up. Okay, I've got that piece of information. What else can I find that substantiates that information? Is there any information that says that particular clue might be false or something has been deliberately put there to make me think a certain way? So there's that kind of question everything kind of approach. Which is a great skill and attitude to have if you want to be an intelligence analyst. So what are the pros of being an intelligence analyst? Obviously, you get to hunt the bad guys, but in cyberspace, solving puzzles, which I've already mentioned, you get to solve puzzles all day long. It's like a big game. There's always something new. There's always another investigation, some angle that you hadn't thought of, some new technique, some different way of looking for information. The platforms themselves are constantly changing, so you're always having to keep up to date with what's happening with Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, etc. Some of the downsides of being an intelligence analyst is so sometimes you don't get to see the outcome. You're not the decision maker. There's not always something to find. And so I guess just to wrap it up, you don't have to be technical, but we definitely need technical people in cybersecurity and particularly in the intelligence space. Some of the best intel analysts actually come from the humanities. So they're psychologists, they're experts in human behavior, they understand the way people think. You would have seen some elements of that when I showed you, like, how do we think like the person that's missing? Why would they be missing? Where have they gone? What could have happened to them? What were the situations they were in, trying to reverse engineer and think about where they could have gone, etc. And I think what's really important as well is an attitude and willingness to learn. And that's way more important than skills or knowledge, because attitude and willingness to learn can't be taught. They just, you have it or you don't. But skills and knowledge is something that you can pick up with practice. So thanks for your time today. I hope I was able to help you understand a little bit more about cybersecurity and intelligence. If you're interested in a career in open source intelligence, please reach out to me on LinkedIn or head to worldstack.net and fill out the contact form. And I've got some time for questions if anyone has one.